What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Moose Milk Podcast. This is episode 135. Matt's
What up?
hot and I'm freezing.
I'm taking my clothes
135.
off.
Matt's stripping and I'm wearing more blankets than Mother Teresa. What does that mean? I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Yeah. Tonight is all about the Marvels. And I'm Ryan and that's Matt. And
Hi.
we are professionals. We are professionals.
Yep.
Just
That's
professionals
us.
suck. Yeah, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm busy, man. Been busy.
Yeah.
Just plugging away at the studio.
Yeah.
Got some drywall delivered today. I was so worried about yesterday's electrician visit. I was worried he was going to be like, "This is terrible," and fucking
Just like make fun of you and
yeah,
give you a wedgie.
He said the only thing I did that I didn't need to do was he's like, you used like way too good a wire. He's like, for all of just like your electrical plugs, he's like, you probably use like the 10 out of 10 stuff, and you probably could have gotten away with like the 5 out of 10 stuff. But he's like,
better safe than
I mean,
sorry.
really, it only ended like, that only cost me probably like $50 in the long run. So
Yeah,
it's
not too bad.
That's it still works, and I'm just like, oh, that's good. If it means it's the best of the best, then that's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't need the wires made out of platinum, but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
So,
I'm glad it's coming along.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go do some more drywalling after this. After we're
hopefully you
finished
get it done before it gets too cold there.
Yes, looking at my calendar, my hope is that I will be basically ready to paint on December 3rd. I think is a
couple weeks.
Yeah, so I'll be able to paint December 3rd. Then I'll be able to put the floor down, which is probably like just a day, and then start building bookshelves to set up toys, and then I'll do my desk, and away we go.
Great. That sounds wonderful.
Word.
Yeah, it's really cold here, so this is why I'm wrapped in like 46 blankets. It's about 0 degrees in my garage right now, so
that will happen.
Yeah, this may be the last week I record in the garage because next week it's probably going to be in the negative. So
yeah, it's supposed to get Nipplesville.
Yeah, not happy about it. Not happy about it.
Sorry.
I hate the holidays and I hate winter, and I'd rather be in Cancun.
Tell everybody about your neighbor. That's the fucking funniest. Ryan sent me this message like 2 or 3 hours ago, and like,
yeah. So
for anybody who doesn't know, Ryan fucking hates.
I hate Christmas.
He's like the Grinch that stole Christmas materialized. Except he's not green and his dick's way bigger.
Those are all correct. I mean, like, honestly, I don't mind the idea of Christmas. Like, if Christmas was about, hey, gather with fucking your family and hang out and have a dinner, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. But Christmas is the most commercialized bullshit of materialism that exists, and it's all about, hey,
yeah, you don't have to do that. Though.
Yeah, but it's like a social, basically, contract where you do.
Nah.
Nah.
And I have lots of friends. I don't buy gifts for anybody.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's very much.
My mom.
It's very much like a holiday where it's like, oh, prove how much you love each other by spending fortune on each other, and it's like, this is ridiculous.
I feel like people are getting away from that as years go on. I think you'll probably see that even more. Like even this year for me and Kate, like because we just moved, instead of buying each other gifts, we're gonna put the money we would normally put into that and buy shit that we want for the house. So it's like instead of getting each other just stuff, we're just gonna.
And you bought the nipple tassels.
I mean, that's the exception of the rule. Yeah. I bought her a Nintendo game, and she bought me nipple tassels. It's a good trade.
It's a good trade, yeah. For her, it's great, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't like the holidays anyway. So I woke up at like 6 o'clock because I work midnight, so 6 p.m. And yeah, my neighbor is got a bunch of Christmas shit all over the lawn and blaring
like those wacky waving inflatable arm.
Yeah, the inflatable like Christmas bullshit, and then just blaring music of Christmas, like some Christmas song, and it's so loud I can hear it in my house. And it's now 1 a.m. my time, and it's still going. So it's getting to a point where I'm gonna end up calling the police if this continues, because A, it's just insanely disrespectful to be playing music that loud at the time of night, and B, I want to be a dick because I fucking hate it. So,
there you have it.
there you have it. Matt thought it was funny, and I told him I may end up in jail. But yeah, so that's the story, and I'm not happy about it. Not happy about it. I just seen the Marvels.
You did? That's
so
true.
we can finally talk about it, and so we will get into that and spoil it. And so if you're not prepared for that, just be aware this will be a spoiler cast.
We be talking spoilers.
But how was your week? What did you watch? What'd you get up to? How long is your hair gonna grow?
My hair's gonna grow really long, I think.
Good.
I actually honestly didn't really watch much this week. I just watched stuff tonight. It's the first night I've watched anything. I've just been busy, so I didn't even watch Invincible. I just don't care. Which is weird though, because I think it's got a really good rating. I think someone said it's got like 100% or something on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, okay. But I think there's only one more week, and then it stops until like next year, and then they do another 4 episodes sometime next year. But yeah, so I will watch it eventually. I got too much other shit going on, and I just don't really care.
No rush.
So the thing is I need to rewatch 1 and 2 as well, because I don't really remember what the fuck's going on. So
fair.
Yeah. But tonight we watched Kate indulged me and we watched the Guardians Christmas special, which was fun.
Cool.
Had a good little chuckle with. I fucking love that special, man. It makes me laugh so hard. Like,
it's good.
Mantis and Drax, and just their complete lack of like understanding of what they're doing. Like that part where Drax flips the car over and Mantis like gives the police officers the candy cane, and she's like,
"Does this look like a little man?
You don't think this looks like a little man, right?" And they're like, no. And it's like, right, my friend, right? And it's like, oh my god, imagine being in that circumstance and that's what happens. Like, they're just completely oblivious to like everything, and
little man, and it's like fucking candy cane. It's just, I love it.
So funny. Oh yeah, so yeah, I watched that, and then afterwards we kept the Christmas going, and we watched, or we didn't finish it, but we'll probably finish it tomorrow. We watched Elf with Will Ferrell.
Not a big fan.
One of my favorite Christmas movies.
Find that movie very.
Actually, we also watched Christmas Vacation on Sunday last week.
That's a good movie. That is a good movie.
I love Christmas Vacation.
Same.
And I'll give Audrey a quarter as well.
Is Rusty still in the Navy?
Well, that movie has so many like inside jokes for us, because like Kate's dad, for the longest time before he got hearing aids, like he never could hear anything, right? So whenever we would talk, he would like either like acknowledge like you were asking him something different or whatever, right? And so one year at I think it was Thanksgiving or something, someone made a comment at table, and he was like, huh? And then Kate was like, the blessing.
Grace died 20 years ago.
You couldn't hear something? You couldn't hear a nitroglycerin, or was it dump truck riding through a nitroglycerin tank?
Yeah, it's so good. There's so many good lines in that movie, man. I watch it every Christmas. Like, that's the one thing where I don't mind is like some good Christmas movies. Like, there's like a handful that I will like watch every year.
Good ones.
Yeah,
they're still on my list. I still have to get to Harold and Kumar.
That's a good one too.
And I quite like Office Christmas Party too. Makes me laugh.
Not bad.
I love Jason Bateman, and I love dude who's plays Weasel. That is a douchebag.
Yeah,
in real life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably get to those in the next week or so. But
sure.
Naturally. But yeah, I enjoyed very much. I haven't watched Elf, and I don't think I watched it last year, so I was having a couple chuckles tonight.
I'll probably watch like Die Hard and.
Yeah, Die Hard's a Boxing Day movie. Me and my father-in-law watched this. This will be like our 3rd or 4th year doing it, so I'm gonna keep.
That's where I usually watch Christmas Vacation. It's usually Boxing.
Is it?
But yeah.
I can't just do Christmas Vacation once. Like it's too good of a movie to me to just enjoy once in the season. I usually pick it up at the beginning, and then we usually watch it like Christmas Eve too. Usually, so.
It's a good movie. I'll watch Home Alone at some point.
Yeah, we watched Home Alone 1 and 2 already, so.
I don't know. I can't think of anything else right now, but those are some solid choices, man.
Yeah.
I rewatched all of Phase 4 this week.
Damn.
And Ant-Man and the Quantumania switches the start of Phase 5, but so that's what, like 8 movies.
Nice.
Most of them were my second time watching them because most of them I hadn't seen since the theater. I would say some of them held up way better than others. I thought The Eternals was abysmally bad to the point of like I was ready to turn it off. I was so bored with it. So I would not recommend that movie. I honestly still love Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, yeah, like I was expecting it not to like hit me at all because of how down a lot of people are on it, and like I laughed out loud at so many points in that movie where like it was still just hit me in the funny bones. Like I don't think it's a better movie than Ragnarok by any stretch. No. Like, don't get me wrong, but
there are some funny parts, like the screaming horses or whatever, the screaming goats. Those are fucking hilarious.
The screaming goats, like Korg has a few lines that are really funny. I don't know, like I just found the movie funny. Like there's parts where I would change, definitely. I think it has its problems. I wish Gore would have been like handled better because Christian Bale just nails that character so well.
Yeah, he's good.
And you know, there's definitely improvements that were needed, but like
I think Thor's the part that needs to be different. I feel like a lot of the other stuff in it's good, but he is like his like goofiness is like elevated to like 15, and it's like, all right, man, take it back a notch.
I totally agree with you. Like there could have been a little bit more between him and Jane, like a little more like
he kind of rushed.
It felt rushed in like her like cancer and everything like that. Like it didn't feel like there was enough like sadness involved in it and like understanding and like him dealing with the humanity of it all and like all that kind of stuff. Like there's just so much jokes thrown in where I'm like this is fine, but for such a sad like topic, it seems
situation,
like it's not really like handled well. But
I agree.
I don't know. It's nowhere near like awful. Like it's definitely better than the first 2 Thor movies.
Yeah, okay. I guess that's probably fair to say.
But yeah, like even Ant-Man Quantumania didn't really hit me well the second time. Like,
no,
that movie's fine, but like,
I don't think I enjoyed it either when I watched it for the second time.
Like, other than the whatever his name is, Jeb or whatever, the little whole
the slime guy.
Yeah, like that's the best part of the movie. Like,
yeah, that is funny. That is pretty funny.
I don't know, it's fine, but nothing in that movie made me go like, oh wow, like this is a standout movie. Like it wouldn't make my top 20.
No, me neither.
I think I got bored with it. Shang-Chi was pretty good. Spider-Man was pretty good.
Overall, I want to watch Spider-Man again. I haven't watched that in a minute.
Spider-Man 3 was good, and like I think Phase 4 overall is like solid. Like
nice.
There's some like but like
I like Shang-Chi.
Same.
I like Guardians a lot.
Spider-Man. Well, that's Phase 5, but yeah.
Oh, whatever. I like Doctor Strange. I like Spider-Man. Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness was fun. I really realized that like a lot of the like endings and like credit stingers, like I totally forgot about. I had no idea. Like
you forgot about Clea
and like the Black Knight ending on Eternals and like there's just a bunch. Like I didn't really remember a lot of the in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, like the what's his face? Namor. I forgot a lot of that like element of it, and like even Black Panther Wakanda Forever I thought was pretty slow for the most part. It's way too long.
Yeah.
Like
my issue with Black Panther is that it's sad and it's like
sad and like
it's like such a departure from Black Panther 1 where it's like everything's colorful, everything is like this super cool tech. There is cool tech too, but it's like this is like it's all murky, it's dark, like
it doesn't have the same vibe. And although I think the music in it is handled way better than the first one, like I feel like the music flows in that movie way better than it does in the first Black Panther. It's way too long. They added too much to the movie where it's like the whole Riri Williams thing and then like the whole Namor thing and then going to whatever fucking Aztec world, underwater world that he lives in. Like it's just too much. And that movie could have like lost 40 minutes and I think it would have ran a lot better, but it's fine. But like I agree with you, it's a sad movie that's just like all the joy and like community that's in the first movie is like really zapped from it.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
different.
yeah, I don't know. I hope like now that that's handled, like if they do I assume they'll do a Black Panther 3 that like it's a little more upbeat and a little more like, okay, now that we've handled T'Challa being gone, like we can really move on with the new Black Panther and everything. Like,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I don't know. I like I said,
How
some
would
of those
you rate? How would you rate 4 and 5? Like, if you were gonna rate those movies, how would you rate them?
like
What's at your top? What's at your lowest? Your bottom of
for Phase 4 and 5.
yeah, of that. Yeah,
I would say Guardians 3 is probably the best, even though it was
yeah.
really sad. That's the only one I haven't rewatched yet. I haven't had time. I would say that Spider-Man, Shang-Chi. Mm, this is hard. Um, Black Widow, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Before Strange.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is fine, but like
I love
again,
Doctor Strange.
there's elements of it that I love, and then there's elements of it where I'm like, this is kind of ridiculous. I don't know. It just they
It's
don't.
the first MCU movie that I feel like they embraced the silliness of the world they live in.
Yeah, but there's just parts of that movie where I'm like, this isn't needed at all. Like, I don't know. I wish they would have done more with the multiverse stuff. Like I've said, like
Me too. Me too.
I feel like that's the part that it was really missing.
Yes, I agree with that. They missed some great opportunities to do some cool stuff, and instead they went with stuff that was like super safe,
Super safe. Yeah.
like bringing in like Charles Xavier and all and like John Krasinski. It's like, hey, here's some fan service for you. That like if these characters didn't even show up in this movie, that wouldn't have changed the outcome of the movie at all.
No, and like I wish they would have done more with
nothing.
that too. Is like I wish that fight scene would have been like 30 minutes long of like actually getting to see John Krasinski like use some of his powers and like I don't know, like it just seems like, oh, here's some fan service and then it's over and it's like, oh, well, I wish I could have seen a little more of that, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it's fine. Like that movie's probably like right around the same area as Thor: Love and Thunder for me. Like it's in the same grouping. And then I don't know, I don't know what I've left out, but like the bottom for sure for me is
Eternals.
Eternals is the worst by far, and then I would say probably Ant-Man second worst, and Black Panther probably third worst.
I remember not liking Black Panther. I only watched it twice. I think the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, I'm not watching this again. And that was the same with the Thor movie too. I was like, okay, I'm good.
Eternals is just like way too dialogue heavy. There's way
It's
too
long.
much thrown into it. There's so many characters that you don't know that you're trying to remember like who's who and what's going on. And like if they ever do like Eternals 2 or whatever.
They're man, haven't you seen all the rumors? I mean, there's
I've
so
seen
much to
rumors,
see.
but like I don't we can get into that too, is like all these rumors going around. But
I've seen like so many ones that have said like they're already talking about the next Eternals movie now. It's like
I just think you can do an Eternals 2. It needs a smaller cast. It needs way more action. Or it needs to be like a team up like we've seen with like Spider-Man and Iron Man or like whatever of like here is some characters that can bring in a little bit of comedic relief included with some of the characters from Eternals, like the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Eternals teamed up or whatever. Like whatever you want to do with it.
if
Like
8 wasn't enough the first time, then here's
right.
another 5.
I'm not saying in like all of them.
I know.
I'm like, but something to bring a little like lightheartedness to it would be a lot better. It's just so like
some humanity to it.
Yeah, it just didn't work as a movie at all. Like, and I think they need to change directors because I think that director just totally missed the mark. But I don't know. Like, I'm also reading the MCU book that just came out. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I'll look it up right now just to be able to give it some props before I talk about it. It was written by Joanna Robinson, who I know from the Ringer podcast network. She's on a lot of like nerd culture podcasts and stuff about shows and stuff like that. The book is called The Reign of Marvel Studios MCU. I'm listening to the audiobook, but it was written by Joanna Robinson, Dave Gonzalez, and Gavin Edwards, and it's narrated by Andrew Kishino. I'm both. I have 4 hours left, so I'm on chapter 25. It goes into basically the history of the MCU, how it started, where it came from. Does it had a lot of interviews with people within Marvel, and then I guess Disney came out and kind of stopped people talking to her because they were getting annoyed that she was getting all this inside information. But it definitely showed me that, well, to start, like the beginning of Marvel, basically there was a creative group or whatever within Marvel, and then there was the Kevin Feige group, basically. And so the creative group was constantly giving notes.
That was Avi Arad's group, right?
Yes. So once Avi Arad left, that group still remained, and then eventually they gave Kevin Feige the power to get rid of him, basically. But the push from that side was always, we don't care what movies you do, but it has to sell toys. It has to sell the figures, and women figures do not sell, and black characters or people of color figures don't sell. So we do not want them as a lead in a movie at all, period. Under no circumstances can a woman or a person of color lead a movie, because those figures will not sell. So that is why that in the first 2 phases you have none of that, basically.
Right. And it's funny you say that, because the toys, like before the MCU toys really took off, the only MCU figures you could get were white males. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Like, there wasn't a Black Widow figure until like a bit into it. There wasn't. They made like a whole Avengers wave, and the only Avenger who wasn't in it was Black Widow.
Yeah. So they talk about that in the book, like that. Basically, that was the whole point. Was like, women figures don't sell. The fans do not want those figures, so don't make them. And I think that's kind of why we're at the point we're at now, is like they finally took those like chains off of creative, of like, okay, now you
now they can do whatever,
women and characters of black color, and like and have those as leads. And now that's why we have, like, they went too far in the opposite direction of like, now that they can do that, that's all we get. And that's fine. Like, I like some of these characters, but like, I think you need a balance. I think you need both. And that's why the first 2 phases is all white men, like, exactly. But it does have like some interesting tidbits about like some of the notes that the studios got over certain movies. Like for instance, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, the note that they got was this, like, from the creative team, was you need to cut all this music out of the movie, because nobody wants all these old 70s songs in the movie. And they're like,
good thing they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, James Gunn's like, no, like, don't you understand? Like, that's kind of the point. Like, that's the whole thing of the music.
It's like built off the soundtrack, man.
And they're like, oh no, nobody wants to listen to these songs. Like, don't. That's the worst part of the movie by far. And like, the studio just didn't get it. Like they're
like super out of touch, right? They were just
very out of touch, and they didn't get the humor of Guardians. They didn't get like any of it. They were just like, well, this isn't going to sell at all. Nobody's going to go see this movie. Like, this is just a off weird like tangent, and like, whatever, do whatever you want, but here's our notes, basically. Same as like for Ant-Man, when it was originally going to be directed by Edgar Wright. Like he was actually going to have Simon Pegg, I think, as Ant-Man, is what kind of the direction he was heading in. But
interesting.
Yeah, like, there's so many little tidbits like that. Like the original, before Tobey Maguire was cast as Spider-Man, they wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play Spider-Man.
I heard about that. Yeah.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger to be Dr. Octopus.
Imagine a ripped Dr. Octopus, and he's like, I'm going to bump you up with my tentacles.
It's so fucking weird. When they first were casting for the first X-Men movie, Michael Jackson really wanted to play Professor Xavier.
Yeah, I heard that.
And they're like, Michael, don't you realize, like, he's an old white man? And Michael was just like, oh, I can wear makeup, and I'll go in whiteface, like, that's fine. And it's like, I'm so glad they didn't do that. But yeah, there's just like a lot of interesting.
Imagine, Magneto, stop it! You're being ignorant.
Stop
it! That's ignorant.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so out of left field. But like they started writing Ant-Man like in like
Yeah, right
2000.
after Iron Man, right?
Yeah, like right in 2008. Like,
It's like one of the longest projects in development at Marvel Studios.
totally. It was
And then when
forever.
Edgar Wright left, it's like, oh, what?
Well, and also like, well, because he was tired of like the script
Yeah.
had been sitting there for 10 years.
Yeah, and they kept changing his shit and wanting him to change his shit, right? So
Yeah.
that's why he left.
Totally. And like they wanted him to really fit into the entire MCU, and like
Yeah.
obviously that
He
just
just
wasn't
wanted to
what
tell
he
an
wanted to do.
isolated story. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that. Like there's a lot of creative people that have just been like, well, I don't want to make your movie, I want to make my movie type thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I get. But
The
like
thing is you can't sign up for one of those Marvel movies if you don't want to somewhat play ball, right? Like
totally, and that's what basically Kevin Feige has said is like a lot of the snippets in the book are like, no, like this is what you signed up for. Like this is the MCU. You have to play ball with all these different things, and like especially the VFX people and all that kind of stuff. Like it's basically just like a production line, and they already have storyboards going on. They already have effects shots that they can reuse from certain things, and like to go for this next movie. So like if you don't want certain things in your movie, like, well, it's already going. Like
too bad.
The train's already left the station type thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. Like I just found it interesting. Like Robert Downey Jr. made like an insane amount of money just from the first 3 Iron Man movies and Avengers. Like
no surprise.
Yeah, like he made a deal with a studio that he got a percentage of the box office for Avengers 1. So he ended up leaving with $70 million for that movie. And
I mean, good for him, but
yeah, totally. And then like I think Iron Man 3 was basically the same. Like he ended up making like 75 million off that movie. I think the second Avengers movie he made like somewhere in the same ballpark, like $80 million. I haven't even gotten to Infinity War yet, so I assume he made an insane amount of money off those two as well. But
probably, yeah.
Like it's just interesting. Like they made a lot of people sign very long-term deals. Like it's all 6 movies, 7 movies, 8 movie deals, and like that's why like seeing all these rumors this week about Pedro Pascal being casted as Reed Richards. I like Pedro Pascal. I think it's the wrong casting choice.
Yeah, it's a weird choice, but
I think I cannot see him signing like a 6-picture deal.
Depends how. I mean, money talks. That's the thing, right?
Sure, I guess. But
the thing that would be weird would be like he seems like he's like hot right now, so it's like to go with something that has basically put out like 6 underperforming things in a row. Well, maybe not every 6 in a row, but
yeah,
definitely not have it
on the decline at least.
Yeah, it's on the decline. Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
But like,
weird to be like, all right, let's jump in for the long haul.
Usually, like this is what like they want people to sign these long deals because they're a nobody at the point where they sign them,
right?
And this keeps them contractually obligated to basically be cheap for the next 6 movies.
They grow into the role, and
right. So like that's why they sign these long ass deals. Is like when Chris Evans and all these people got casted, like they weren't super popular actors. Like they had done some things, but they weren't like fucking these huge ass names. And so like somebody like Pedro Pascal, who's doing The Mandalorian and doing Last of Us and like all this stuff, it's like this is a pretty high profile actor where I assume he's going to make a shit ton of money. And I just don't think, like, to me, if he is cast, like this movie's not coming out next year.
Right. Yeah, because he's going to be tied up with too much other shit.
Well, apparently he's only half done filming Gladiator 2, the sequel to the Russell Crowe movie. I guess they're making.
I didn't know he was doing that. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Apparently that movie shot half of it, and then the writer's strike happened, and so it shut down. So apparently he still has to film half of that movie. Apparently
the Last of Us is January here.
Is supposed to be 6 months shoot. So like I mean, I don't know how long the shoot is for Fantastic Four, but you got to assume it's going to be a year out after they start. So
maybe they're going to shoot all his stuff first and like get him out in like 4 months or something.
I don't know. From what I saw, he's not going to be available till like October this year.
Damn.
So I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know his personal life. I'm just saying, like, to me, that there's no way that movie is coming out in May next year. It hasn't even started shooting. Like,
oh yeah, I don't see it happening next year at all, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to get pushed.
There's already 3 movies. That's going to be the slate.
I'm going to say like late 2025 at the earliest, maybe 2026. But
Yeah.
I assume they're going to come out with a new schedule at some point next year. But
Yeah, especially because they keep, there's so many things, right? Where you're seeing them say like they're switching from the Kang storyline and the.
yeah, I mean, so many rumors, so many rumors.
Mhm. Yeah, there is. It's a
Doctor
lot.
Doom and fucking that we found out that the director of Shang-Chi left the Avengers movie.
Yep.
Um,
To
there's
possibly do Shang-Chi 2 sooner.
that and that the Kang Dynasty movie is now being retitled and it's going to be all about Secret Wars Part 1 and
Part 1. Yeah.
Secret Wars Part 1 and 2 instead of Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, basically what Infinity War and Endgame did.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. There's massive rumors going on, swirling around, and obviously none of it can be, said for sure and confirmed. I assume I'm going to say like early next year, Disney's going to come out with a big press conference and just basically what they did at Comic-Con like a couple years ago and say like, this is our Phase 6 slate. These are our dates that we want to hit or our time frames we want to hit. And, we're making some changes. And I mean,
maybe
they did that.
Do that maybe they'll do it at SCCC.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is that they don't really have anything to do until then anyway. Like that's what Deadpool comes out in
May. No, July.
So that's
it's like July 17th or something like that. Yeah, I could see that.
That's like right around that time. So like they could have that movie come out and then announce like a shit ton of shit, right?
Yeah, especially with how bad the Marvels is doing. Like I think they're gonna let it die for a little bit. We found out that What If season 2 is coming out a couple days before Christmas.
Interesting choice to release an episode a day for a week.
My guess is it's not very good.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
I think
I didn't really love the first one, so I mean, I'll watch it, but like, yeah.
I mean, usually, like, if a movie, especially like for Echo, like the fact that that's coming out early January is a really bad sign. That's usually a dumping ground for bad shit. So we'll see.
I mean,
but
we're not that surprised. I'm not surprised by that. So.
No, either am I. But like, I just went and seen the Marvels with my friend Brian, and my friend Brian was like, "Oh, I thought that looked awesome." Like, he's like, that trailer like totally made me like interested in it for the first time. And I was like,
"Oh, Echo."
Yeah. He's like, everybody online, like, he's like, if you go on Reddit or anything like that, he's like, everybody's super, super positive about that.
Yeah, I saw lots of positivity about it, and I'm just like, really? For this?
Yeah, it didn't do anything for me, but
hey. I guess it's just the blood.
Yeah, well, that's what a lot of people are stoked on. Is it looks like Daredevil.
I'm not putting any money into that, into some bloody fists. It ain't happening.
No, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be. I think it will be a lot of cutaways, a lot of like, oh, it's really brutal, but like you don't see any of it. It's cutaway,
implied brutal.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe some cursing or something to get it that R mature rating, but I can't see it being blood and guts everywhere.
Nope.
Yeah, let's get into the Marvels because we're. Oh, I also want to shout out before we move on. There's a new documentary that I just watched that's really good. Called. Let me find it real quick. David Holmes, The Boy That Lived, and it's a documentary about the stunt double for Daniel Radcliffe during the Harry Potter movies, who in the 7th movie, a stunt went wrong and he became paralyzed. And
I knew that. I know that story. That's crazy.
And it's Daniel Radcliffe basically like wanted to get this documentary done. He didn't direct it, but he's like a big part of it. He's in a lot of the movie, and you kind of see the progression of like him in childhood, like not Daniel Radcliffe, but David Holmes, training like as a gymnast and how he wanted to become a stunt performer. And it shows a lot of like behind the scenes stuff on Harry Potter and him doing a lot of the stunts and everything like that. And then it goes into his life afterwards of him becoming paralyzed and like the treatments he's had to go through and like his life now and everything like that. And it's sad at parts, but it's also like very heartwarming. The man is just like such a positive like human, like just like, yeah, this is what it is. Like, I have to live like this now. And like, he's never like very rarely in the entire documentary is he ever like, oh, I fucking hate this. And I want to like, it's just a very positive, heartwarming kind of thing. And I recommend it highly. It's only 90 minutes. It's on HBO Max, I believe, in the States. It's on Crave in Canada. But yeah, it's an HBO documentary, so it's good.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
It's a sad story. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, let's get into the Marvels. I'm gonna throw up the spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah, so this is your warning. This is full spoilers for the Marvels.
For the Marvels.
You kind of talked about your thoughts on it briefly last week.
Yes. So for anyone who wasn't here, didn't know, my thoughts on it were it's fine. It was I don't know, it felt like an old Marvel movie, but it didn't feel like anything that exciting, really. It was just kind of like there was some fun action, there was some fun comedy, there was some like cringy lines, and there was an underdeveloped villain that was just like completely forgettable and no one will ever remember. I don't even remember her name. So
me either, and I just seen it 3 hours ago.
Yeah. So that's my take on the Marvels. It was like probably like for me like a 6.5 out of 10, or maybe a 7, maybe.
I'm on the exact same boat as you.
Yeah.
I agree with you that it has some high points. It does feel like a little bit of an older Marvel movie where it doesn't have a lot of stakes in it. Like it reminds me kind of like Ant-Man 1.
Sure.
It's got some good action beats, it's got some funny lines, but it's not like something where you go, oh man, you gotta go see this movie. Like this is gonna blow your pants off. Like it's not. It doesn't feel like the stakes are high enough where anything really matters in the movie. It's just like, here's some characters, like here's a story. There's some funny moments in it for sure. I enjoyed moments of it. I think, as you kind of mentioned last week, I think Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel is
the best thing ever.
Is the best character in the movie. Like, is one of the best characters in all of MCU right now. I think she's just insanely talented, insanely funny. Very, very likable. Her parents in the movie and her brother in the movie are just like standouts. Like they just have all the best lines in the movie.
Yeah.
Just very likable. I can't wait to see more of that. Like I hope she gets a Ms. Marvel season 2, or
that'd be great.
Even a standalone movie of some sort, or part of the X-Men movies, or like whatever you want to do with this character. Like I'd totally be in.
Yep. Yeah. Same here. I'd love to see more of her. I enjoy her. Like her whole realm, like it's not even just her, it's her parents and her brother, like you mentioned, right? Like
yeah, totally.
They're a fun group to be around. So I would be open to more. And she's just so fun. Like
totally. I just like, for me, the weakest. Well, there's two things in the movie I thought were just very weak. The first is like I feel there's zero chemistry between Brie Larson and Monica Rambeau, whatever the actress's name is. Sorry, I don't have it on the tip of my tongue. I just felt like there's no chemistry between the two actors. Like I could not. I couldn't care less about either of them. Like I don't think either of them have any like emotional pull in any way. Like there was not one moment in that movie where I felt bad for Captain Marvel. Like I just don't.
See, I'm the opposite on that. I mean, I don't really love Brie Larson as Captain Marvel,
I know,
but
yeah.
And like, I mean, I'm fine with Monica Rambeau, but I mean, in fairness, like, I have no attachment to the character.
Either do I. No,
I have no attachment to the actress playing the character. But I mean, I think where the chemistry was for them was like between the three of them. That's where I really like. I really like that power. That like little montage where they're like learning how to like work with the teleporting powers that they're getting when they use their powers.
We need a fucking montage. A motherfucking montage.
It always fades out at the end of a montage.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. Like that was good, and like that's what I mean with Ms. Marvel, right? Is like her fandom for Captain Marvel and like her excitement for those characters is what makes you excited for those characters, because you feel like, oh, like I can relate to her. She's like a fangirl or whatever. And like, but like between actual Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau, like I felt zero chemistry. Like I didn't feel like the relationship was like real in any way. Like of like, oh, Auntie Carol and all this shit. I'm like, we don't know enough about them to like really have an emotional tug. And then the musical number of them going to the planet where everybody sings to each other because they
communicate
like their language. I think there was a way to do that very funny. and I feel like it completely missed the mark. Like, it didn't work for me. It felt like an animated Disney musical, and it just felt so out of place in that movie. And I think there's definitely a funny way to do it where everybody had to sing to each other. I just didn't. It didn't work for me at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. I didn't like hate it, but I wasn't like it. You know, you said it reminded you of a Disney princess thing, and like, and what I said to you before we went live was that was probably intentional. Like,
Yeah.
if you look at the main character, if you look at the characters here, they're playing. I mean, they're playing to an audience with the MCU as a whole, anyways. But I mean, you know, they're probably also looking for like girl power kind of thing, right? So like,
Totally get it. Yep.
and it does make sense to me why they did it, and I don't hate it enough that it like ruined my experience. I was just like, oh, okay, this is fucking weird, but whatever.
I agree with you. Like, I think like just the shot of Brie Larson getting changed and she has this like Captain Marvel style like gown on. It was
Yeah,
like
that was
totally
cool.
it was totally like Beauty and the Beast or something like that,
Totally.
where she's like dancing in the middle with Beast, like, and said there's some prince off a fictional planet. But like the comedy just didn't land for me, where like I was like, oh, this is funny, or this is cute, or like this is creative. Like for me, it was just like, this doesn't fit in this movie at all, and like you're missing your target audience completely. Like 90% of the people coming to see this movie are hardcore Marvel fans. They're not interested in seeing this musical.
I don't think that's the
Disney
case.
movie.
I don't think at this point that's the case.
Oh, 100% it is. If this movie made $40 million, the only people going to see it are the hardcore MCU people at this point. This doesn't have some wide audience of like, oh, everybody's bringing their families and their kids to this.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Nobody cares
But
anymore.
I think without having the actors to be able to promote it,
That's part of it,
know.
for sure. I don't think that has as big a part as people are saying it does. Like, I've
So
never.
they said that without, there's like a study, and I only know this because it was on Weekly Planet.
Okay.
And they said that without having the actors promoting it weeks leading into it, it could affect the opening week 2 weeks box office by up to 15%. So it said
15%
so
not that
still
much.
still not that much, yeah.
So, you know, it made it.
But
It would
it's
have made like,
something though.
it would have made like 60 million instead of 4, like, you
Yeah.
know, something like
Yeah.
that. But to me, like, that's never had a pull on me of like, oh, Brie Larson wasn't on Colbert.
Oh no, me neither. Me neither.
Like,
But again,
I
we're
don't-
not that group that's they're playing to, right?
totally. But like even going to the movies tonight, they had the poster for the new Hunger Games movie, and it's like, I haven't even seen a trailer for it. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if I have either.
like my friend Brian was like, I didn't even know that movie came out. Like, and then we're sitting there, and the trailer for the new Ghostbusters movie came on, and I can't remember, there's something else, and he's, oh, the Planet of the Apes movie, and he's like, I didn't even know those films were being shot yet. Like, it's like, I haven't heard anything about these movies, and I feel like that's kind of where they're missing, is like, I don't know, like, if people aren't going to the theaters anymore and you're not really pushing these movies in any real way, like, how do people find out about these things? I don't know. Like,
sure.
So I agree, like, it does have an effect that they didn't promote it, but like, I also think like it just wasn't interesting people. Like, I don't think anybody really was like diehard Captain Marvel fan.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree. Do you think this movie is better than the first Captain Marvel?
No.
I think I do think it is.
I think I had more fun with the first one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I didn't love the first one, so
I didn't love it either. I wish Sam Jackson would have had more to do in this movie.
I wish Sam Jackson wasn't relegated to like a comedy bit. I feel like that's what he is. It's like he's not like, remember Sam Jackson from the Avengers, from building the Avengers, not necessarily the Avengers, but like that badass version. Yeah, that badass version. It's like now it's like,
yeah, he's a comedy bit.
He is. He's a comedy. It's not really the same anymore.
And like they talk about that in that MCU book of like, part of his contracts for the first like 3 or 4 movies he was in was he does not want to run in any scenes in this movie. And when the scene came up in Winter Soldier where he had to run, he like almost walked off the set. He was like, it's in my contract, I'm not running. And the director was like, it's just one scene, like we apologize, but like you have to be able to get away from this moment and you have to run. Like that's the only way.
He's like, no, I walk because it looks way cooler.
Exactly. So like I think he is very like, I mean, he's like I think 70 or something like that. So he probably doesn't want to do any big action scenes anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
But like it just felt like he was completely lacking. Like there was no reason for him to be in this movie, really.
Yeah.
Like I like what's it, the cat, the Flurgan Goose, yeah. Like
that whole thing with all the cats floating at the end made me fucking laugh so hard.
Same. I thought that was funny. Like I liked them eating all the crewmates and stuff like that, and spitting up. Like I thought it was funny. It reminded me of like some of the sillier moments within the MCU, which I was like, this
totally.
is cool.
It felt very old. That part felt very old. Like especially like when they got back to Earth, and there's just like in the background, there's just like humans like flying out of these like cats' mouths and stuff. Like
it's
pretty funny.
In like a park on Earth, like it's great.
Yeah,
but I like them like loading all the cats into the spaceship, and like it just was very funny. Like, and I saw it coming with all the little like, eggs around the ship or whatever. I was like, those are definitely going to be cat alien things. Like, and I don't know. I thought it was funny, and like I like Goose. I just think it's a cute character, but I just the rest of the movie just didn't really work. Like you said, the villain had no.
The villain's completely it's forgettable.
Like I don't know its name. I don't really care either way. Like it wasn't nothing in it was like villainous enough where I was like, ooh, let's get her. Like it was just like, all right, she has a planet that has no resources. She's trying to steal some resources. Cool. I don't know.
It's basically just this typical MCU villain. Like it's someone who like it doesn't matter.
No,
just like here's the threat, then the threat's neutralized. That's done. Here we go. We're done.
Yeah,
we don't need to worry about this anymore.
Which is a shame.
It's
a big shame, but I don't know. I think it's probably on par with the first Captain Marvel. Like there's moments of each I like. I wouldn't like go out of my way for either of the movies again. Like I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, you got to see the Captain Marvel movies. Like
same here.
I don't know. I thought Brie Larson was more interesting, probably in this one a little bit more than the first one.
I like the advancement to her story of why she didn't go back to Earth.
Yeah.
About how she like killed the AI, the Supreme Intelligence or whatever, and then like basically made everything, and then like all of the Kree call her like Annihilator or whatever, and it's like it's like gets under her skin that she like did this thing to this whole race of people, and like she's like embarrassed to like show her face until she can like make it right. I thought that was a cool, like avenue to take that character, and a cool way to explain like her absence, right?
That's what I was just gonna say, is like you had to explain the 30-year absence of like the first movie being in like what 95 or something like that, and then she's not really in anything till Endgame. Like why? No, I agree with that element. Like I said, like I just didn't really. The best part of the movie was like like the montage scene and like they got them figuring out their powers and the switching and stuff. I thought there were some great moments there, like Camilla's family and like them destroying their house was like
that was funny.
It's fun. Like the fangirling out and like her wanting to be like
great.
besties and twinsies and all this stuff. Like I just think that character is so likable. But
she is very likable.
Overall, like it's a, like you said, probably a 6.5, a 7. Like it's fine. If you're gonna watch all the MCU movies, sure, it's a part of it, but like I don't think it would hurt you if you didn't watch either of these.
Yes, in the long run. I agree.
Like if I was to recommend like the 15 most, like you had to watch these MCU movies to understand what was going on, these wouldn't make it.
No, not at all.
I would probably like skip probably 10 movies at this point of like, this is the 33rd movie. You can get by with 20 of them and you'd be fine.
You could easily fine tune this into a small collection.
Yeah.
10 or 12 movies probably.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably. Like, honestly, Iron Man 1's a must, but like the rest of the phase 1 movies like aren't like mandatory by any stretch.
Yep.
I don't know.
You could probably do Iron Man 1, Avengers, Captain
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Winter Soldier, yeah.
Guardians 1.
Yep.
I don't know. We could do this as an episode at some point and figure it out.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah. I just think this isn't the movie you want to have a 9-month break from. Like,
I would
this didn't
agree.
set up anything where I'm like, can't wait for that Deadpool.
What are you talking about? You're not excited about Young Avengers?
I think that could have potential, and I liked that it was like a very like tongue in cheek, like she's basically
Yes,
pretending to
like
be
a
Steve
callback.
Jackson,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
totally.
that's great. Like,
I agree.
she's got that like fangirl style down where it works for her character, and it's clever, but like,
She's like, I got intel on you.
yeah, but like also like, does anybody care to see Kate Bishop and
Pizza
Ms.
Dog?
Like, I don't know, like none of these characters are like exciting enough where I'm like, ooh, can't wait for that Young Avengers. Like,
Yeah, see,
it's
that's
like,
the thing for me is like Young Avengers. Like, I don't really give a fuck. I mean, I guess the thing with all these young people is they all kind of have that same energy that, because like I feel like Kate Bishop has that energy that Miss Marvel has. It's just not as like infectious as.
it's the same as Tom Holland.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, I think it could be fun, but it's definitely not something I'm like clamoring for. It'll be a lot like Miss Marvel, where I go into it thinking this isn't for me, and then I
Yeah.
end up liking it, right? So
Yeah, totally. Like I think like I kind of said, as if this is a part of one of the Avenger movies where like the Avenger team gets like taken out or captured or something like that, and they're like, hey, we need another team to come in and like free them or something like that. And it's some big action sequence, and all of a sudden see Kamala pick up the phone and she's like in charge of the Young Avengers or something like that, and then we have a big action scene with them, and then like they all come together at the end or something like that. Like, that's totally fine by me, as long as it's handled well and everything. But like, there's no part of me that I'm like, ooh, I hope they make a Young Avengers standalone movie, because that's gonna crush. Like,
yeah,
I don't think anybody has enough interest in any of the characters where that make up the Young Avengers where you'd be like, yes, fuck yeah, like let's go. Or less like they trickle in some X-Men or something into it where like, like, oh, if like Rogue or something's in there, then that would like up the ante for me personally.
sure.
I don't know. I don't know where they'd go with it, but I have a feeling that will be one of the future Avenger movies for sure. Is it will be a
Yeah,
segment within that movie. It won't be a standalone movie. Um, Overall, it's fine. The credit stinger, as people probably have already known, it's leaked everywhere on the internet and it's
yeah.
everywhere. But at the end of the movie, Monica Rambeau gets sucked into the alternate timeline, alternate dimension of the Fox Universe X-Men, and we get to see her wake up in the underground facility within the mansion of the X Mansion, and she wakes up and Beast is there, Kelsey Grammer's Beast, and her mom, who doesn't know who she is, but is not her mom in this universe. It's
Binary,
Binary, right?
complete with comic accurate costume, which was
Sure.
pretty cool.
And Beast.
And Beast was also comic accurate, which was pretty cool.
I was never a big fan of Kelsey Grammer's Beast. I don't really like Kelsey Grammer.
I just don't like how he looked.
Yeah, I didn't
Everything
like
else
how he
was
looked.
he looked like the lion from Wizard of Oz, but blue.
Totally, 100%. You nailed it. That's exactly
It was
right.
weird.
Yeah,
It was not a good look.
it's not a good look, and yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe if it didn't leak, I would have been more excited seeing it in theaters, but like, it didn't do anything for me. I wasn't like, oh
Yeah, I
fuck
knew what it
yeah,
was
here we
going
go.
into it. I
And
mean, I
like you said, like it's the Fox Universe X-Men, which we all the last five
it's the problem. It's the
majority of
problem.
the 5 movies were bad, or 6.
Here we are getting excited over Fox X-Men.
Yeah,
That's how much of a drought we have with
X-Men.
with X-Men stuff. It's how bad that people want it. As someone who fucking hates the Fox X-Men,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm getting fucking jazzed over seeing shit that I fucking hated like so long. Like,
Me
not
and
so
you
long.
went and seen Dark Phoenix together, and we made
Oh
fun
my
of that
god, that
movie.
was so funny.
It was the funniest time we've ever spent in a movie together, because
Yeah, it was really funny.
the 2 hours of that movie, we just laughed our asses off and made fun
Yeah,
of
we
it
did.
for how bad it
We
was.
did.
And like,
Right from the fucking first like voiceover thing. I can't remember what you said, but it fucking like it's like literally the first line of the movie, and we started, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be good.
yeah. And now we're clamoring for it. We're begging for it. Like, I mean, we've seen these rumors and everything that like Disney can't recast these roles because they're under some weird contract still with Fox, and I don't think this is a direction to go with it. Like, people are clamoring for the X-Men, and you're still reusing old Fox actors in these roles, and it's like, it's time to reboot this fucker. Like, if after Deadpool this still is going on, like, they have a serious issue.
Yeah, so I think that it'll probably be when Secret Wars happens. That's when everything folds in, and we
Yeah,
get our new world versions of, Wolverine, and we'll probably get Miles Morales there too, right?
that would be
Spider-Verse.
awesome.
But yeah, I can't imagine that won't happen at that point. That's how we got Miles in the 616 in the comics. So
Yeah, like, I totally rewatching what is the Spider-Man one? Not Homecoming, Far From Home?
No
No
Way
Way
Home.
Home? No Way Home. That whole movie, like, I was like, man, it would have really fit really well if Miles was in this movie too.
Sure would.
And after playing that Spider-Man 2 video game, like, it just made me like really want Miles Morales in this universe, because I just love that character. I think he's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's a good character.
Yeah, I just, like I said, this movie's fine. I wish the credit stinger would have got me more hyped for Deadpool. Like, I think they were missing, if the last few segments of, like, it would have been Beast, and then, like, I don't know, Wolverine or Deadpool or something else was in that X Mansion, and, like, really, like, got you hyped for Deadpool 3, I would have been like, oh sweet. Or a trailer for Deadpool 3, like, anything. It would have been like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, fuck yeah. But, like, it didn't really, like, now we have a 9-month break, and I'm like, that's fine, I guess. Like, my hype
We'll
level.
get hype.
Yeah.
We'll get hype as we get closer. That's the thing, is we'll be thirsty for it by the time it comes back. And I think if anything, Deadpool will deliver. So
Yeah, I said that on the way home with my buddy. It was like, Deadpool obviously will make good money, and I assume that they will think that that's like the bounce back.
yeah.
But with the rumors of how bad Captain America 4 is, and that they're reshooting a lot of it, and all the stuff going on with Daredevil and how bad that is, and all the turmoil with all the Blade not being in good shape, and it's just like, do I have hope that after Deadpool, like, we're gonna get solid banger after banger? It's like, no, not really.
No, I don't think so. I more meant that I think it's a good thing to start again with, is because I think I feel like even the general public, like that audience that the MCU has now lost, I feel like even that group will see Deadpool, because it's Ryan Reynolds, who's very accessible to the general audience. Deadpool, I feel like, as a character, is very accessible to the general audience.
Yeah.
So I feel like Deadpool is a great starting point to come back to. So,
and, like, as hyped as I am about it, like, the fact it's rated R, it makes me that much more excited for it. But I think a lot of that's its downfall, like, financially, is that just limits your, like, family audience heavily, right? So,
yeah. But they can always do what they did with Deadpool 2, which is just put out a PG-13 version at Christmas.
I think they will. I think
probably.
There'll be a Disney Plus version of that movie that will be drastically different than the.
Or they'll put it in theaters again, because they did that with DP2 and it worked, and then they have another movie for 2024. So
totally. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. Like, I can't wait for that movie, and I think we'll get a trailer. Probably April, I would say, next year.
I bet you sooner than that. I bet
depends
you
when it's
March.
finished filming, right? Like,
yeah, but they've already started again, haven't they?
I think it's just starting up again, and, like,
yeah.
I guess during the break, the director edited the first half of what he shot. So, I don't know. That I still have a feeling that movie might get delayed again. Just, I don't know. July seems soon, but
we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, overall, The Marvels is a fine movie. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's there. It exists. If you like The Marvels, or you liked, Kamala Khan from Ms. Marvel, I think this movie will make you happy. But I don't. If you go into it expecting, a bonkers MCU movie, you're gonna.
Word.
And you know what? After rewatching, like, Phase 4, it really, like, dawned on me too, is like how desperate, like, they are for an Avengers movie, team up movie. Like,
yeah,
we ended the first phase, the second phase, the third phase with Avenger movies, and the fact that we haven't got one in 5 years is like, and we're still gonna be waiting another 2, 3. It's like,
yep,
they really needed an Avengers movie at the end of Phase 4.
I don't disagree.
I don't know what you would have done with it, and I don't know what your team would have been, and maybe it's just them, like, picking a character to take the lead of the next Avengers team, and them like trying to cast or trying to like hunt down all these different strands of heroes and trying to get them to join kind of thing. And there's some action beats in between, different team ups throughout the movie or something like that. Like I don't know if it would have been like the same style of Avengers movie of like, hey, here's a 5-person team ready for a big bad, but like if you would have had Smart Hulk or something like that lead the team and going like, hey, we need to go find Shang-Chi, we need to go find whoever, and this is our next team. I think there would have been a funny way to do it of like kind of buddy cop movie style like comedy, and I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. I guess
more around building a team than stopping a threat, kind of.
Yeah, thing. Maybe Doctor Strange is the leader. I don't know.
They build a team to stop a threat, but I mean, the focus is on the team and how they get together.
Yeah, I mean, I think Doctor Strange probably would lead the team, not Hulk, but I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds more accurate. I think
like him and Wong, like that's the best part of Multiverse of Madness. I love Wong.
Agree.
Wong is
Wong's fantastic.
More Wong, like
more Wong. I love Wong and She-Hulk. Remember when he dates that crazy girl? That was funny.
That was great. That was the best part of She-Hulk.
It's very funny.
Yeah, we need more Wong. He's great.
Cool.
That's our thoughts.
What the fuck's happening?
I don't know.
My music is being stupid.
I can't hear it. So.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Excellent.
Anyways, that's the episode. That's our thoughts on the Marvels.
On the Marvels.
I don't know what we're doing next week.
Oh yeah, what are we doing next week?
That's the
maybe
question.
We're ranking the important Marvel movies. I don't know how much time I'm gonna have, honestly, so I might just have to give my thoughts, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, maybe that's our thing, is the movies you need to watch of the MCU. How can we get the MCU down to its minimal level of movies that like get you in?
What are the important pieces that you need to know where to be or where you're at?
Yeah. So let's do that, and then after that, we'll figure it out week by week.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not already following us, please head over
to
Instagram. You can follow me at Moose Milk Media. You can follow Matt at Customs by Matthew. We both have our own YouTube channels. You can subscribe to YouTube, both of our YouTube channels on YouTube. Matt will be back at some point in the next year, but
sometime.
Yeah, all these episodes go up on my YouTube channel. You can also grab the episodes on your podcast service of choice. So please go there, subscribe, follow us, fucking like us, comment on our videos, whatever you want to do. If you got any ideas for future episodes, leave a comment, let us know, and we'll consider it for sure. But yeah, thanks everybody for checking us out. We appreciate you, and hope everybody has a great week. Stay safe, and we'll see you next Saturday.
I am not a crook.
He's not.